As Stranger Things comes to an end, fans are finally admitting it. This show had some seriously cringe moments. Don't mind me. I love Stranger Things, but looking back at the entire series, there are scenes that just didn't age well. Watching some of this for the first time was just like one of the worst experiences on TV. It was just as bad as that moment from EXO Kitty season 2.
We got here! Yes, we do! We got here! How about you?
Kitty, get off the track!
For those of us who remember.
After many years of monsters, mind control, and heartbreak, Stranger Things somehow delivered one of its most uncomfortable moments, not in the upside down, but in a quite emotional reveal. Will's storyline had been built on a subtlety for seasons, lingering looks, silence, and unspoken feelings. It was slow, restrained, and arguably effective when left behind the lines. Everyone who watched the show already knew Will was gay. Let me land. All the times in the show he asked Mike to play with him D&D, I personally knew he was talking about a different one. Probably a D that starts with D and ends with ick. I guess I was right all the time. But when the show finally spelled it out,
I don't like girls.
The moment felt awkwardly staged and emotionally heavy-handed. The pacing dragged, the dialogue lingered too long, with even the fact that it took them more than 24 hours and multiple issues just to get this cringe moment. What should have felt natural instead felt forced, like the show was pausing the plot just to make a point. Most of the gay people watching this will disagree and call it homophobia if you think this scene is cringe, but a better deleted scene got leaked on Twitter, and let me even give you a small glimpse of it. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, I am a gay homosexual. Ew, sick! Bro, what are you even talking about? Honey, I don't think now is the best time for an announcement like that. Hope you didn't want grandkids, Mom, because this queen thinks girl parts are icky. Did you like other guys? Nasty, dude. Correction, I like you, specifically. Hot stuff.
Rather than blending into the sci-fi chaos, the scene played like a teen confession. In a series famous for showing instead of telling, Will's coming out moment stood out for the wrong reasons. Is it memorable? Yes, but as one of the cringiest moments, most jarring scenes that the show has ever showed us, it's just annoying. Few moments in Stranger Things made fans want to pause, look away, jump into the TV, or physically cringe, but 11 trying to use her powers and Angela tops the list.
Angela! What the hell was that?
Dropped into a normal high school with no powers, no friends, and no Hawkins skills, 11 is already out of place. Then comes Angela, the stereotypical mean girl, loud, cruel, and clearly to push every button. As a non-American, it seems like in every teen movie there has to be like one group of mean white guys or girls. I don't know why it's always white. Is it like
Is it a colour thing? Is it a colour thing? Is there a colour thing about that? Is it
No, I'm just joking. When Angela humiliated 11 in front of everyone, the pressure explodes, 11 snaps, focuses, reaches for her powers, and nothing happens. The silence drags, everyone stares, the moment stretches for too long to hurt me while I was watching it. I sincerely wanted to jump into the TV. This scene particularly had me physically cringe and grind my teeth. I closed my eyes in disappointment. Instead of tension, it felt painfully awkward. The scene leaned hard into a second-hand embarrassment, turning a powerful character into a helpless punchline. Like I said before, Stranger Things had its own awkward moments, but 11 meeting her long-lost sister might be the cringiest introduction the show ever attempted. It feels like a failed family reunion according to me. 11 finally meets someone like her, another girl with powers, another experiment survivor named Callie. On paper, it's huge. This should have been like an emotional, mysterious, or even powerful introduction. Instead, their first introduction felt stiff, and let me say, unnatural. The dialogue was painfully blunt, especially that moment when Callie asks where 11 got the picture, and she simply answers, Mama.
Where did you get this? Mama.
I understand that 11 was technically like a baby learning how to speak, but when I first watched this moment, it reminded me of that one Tom and Jerry episode from the 19s, where Tom tried to eat the duck, and the duck was always shouting, Mama. For those of us who remember, No tension, no depth, just awkward pauses and flat delivery. Rather than feeling like two traumatized sisters connecting, it played like a poorly written fanfic scene. The chemistry wasn't there, the pacing dragged, and the edgy tone felt forced instead of earned. It was just weird to me and cringe. For a show built on tension and mystery, Stranger Things sometimes undercuts itself, with the dialogue so awkward it snaps you right out of the moment. Picture it, Eleven is training, nose bleeding, fighting her mind to save everyone, pure science for intensity, then suddenly, Lucas launches into a random cockpit like he's in the 90s commercial. Not a real-life death situation, right? If I were 11, I would have used my powers and dragged his ass off the window immediately. That's like one of the problems. The show keeps interrupting its own stakes with lines that don't belong anywhere, like at a particular situation. Forced nostalgia plugs, overly quippy one-liners, characters explaining things we already understand. It's like as if we're talking to babies. Instead of feeling natural, the dialogue feels written at the audience. Moments like the new cock rant, exaggerated insults or musical details during serious situations, or tensional, tonal, whiplash. Less horror, more awkward, just sketchy comedy that doesn't actually make sense. And lastly on the list is Mike and Eleven's love triangle. Stranger Things had like one of the worst love triangles on every TV show that I've watched. Mike and Eleven are supposed to be the hearts of Stranger Things, but somewhere along the way, their love story stopped feeling supernatural. It felt like a CW-ish. What began as an innocent, quiet bond in season 1 filled with awkward glances, walkie-talkies, and psychic trust felt grounded and earned. Their connection grew naturally alongside the sci-fi mystery, but once the show leaned into the love triangle drama, the pacing slowed to more of a crawl. Long distances, recycled teenage arguments that didn't make sense, since Eleven couldn't understand what was actually going on.
I dump your ass.
All this built up to one of the worst breaking up scenes I'd seen in television history. I know she felt like a bad girl, like she was in a brat era probably sponsored by Max. If that scene was that bad, how about this one?
Dusty bun? Dusty bun.
What do you mean dusty bun? I know it's like a childish stuff, but it was just weird. And these are like my weird moments of Stranger Things. What do you actually think is your weirdest and cringiest moments on the TV show? Kindly comment, and if you've reached this far, give us a like and subscribe.